Hello again, folks. It is me, Matsimus, talking again today about some artillery. Surprisingly enough, since I just came off my artillery course. If you haven't checked out the video, guys, please feel free to. I recently just qualified as a gunner, super happy. But today we are talking about something particularly interesting, which is long-range missile systems. Now, there's a long-standing argument as to whether rocket artillery really is artillery. There's a lot of gunners out there that really don't agree with, rocket artillery and feel that field guns will always be the guns, of course, and that rocket artillery is just, some newfangled system that we don't really want to take a part of. But let's just be honest here, everyone. It is the future. It's an extremely effective weapon system. Myself, I saw these things, not these particular weapon systems, these are the HIMARS or the HIMARS, but I saw the GMLRS firing in Afghanistan. Absolutely amazing piece of equipment. Scared the living bejeebers out of me when they fire a full salvo of those 12 rockets. Really was impressive to see. But, they are extremely effective at what they can do, not only with the range of these systems, but the accuracy and the firepower that can be brought down onto an enemy with this kind of system is just incredible. Now, of course, this isn't new. We've had this technology out for a very long time. There is nothing new here. GMLRS and MLRS has been around for a very long time. The Russians, pretty much many countries out there, have very sophisticated weapon systems also. We see the Americans heavily adapting their technology and their guidance systems on these platforms. But I was doing a little bit of research recently, since I have recently become a gunner, and started to look into, what other kinds of rocket launchers are out there? What other kinds of missiles are able to be launched from these platforms? Because always the question I get asked when I talk about the guns, as in the field howitzers, is how far can the round go? How far can the projectile actually fly through the sky and hit the target? And, they're a little astonished by how far some of the projectiles can go, especially in the M777, up to 40 to 45 kilometers with Excalibur, etc. But when you look at these platforms, it's a whole new level, and I always am very intrigued as to, the range and capabilities these missiles can have. Now, Raytheon, who, let's be to the point here, they know how to make missiles very, very well, have just announced that they're going to be upgrading nearly all of the United States military's missile platforms with the new system that's called DeepStrike. Now, DeepStrike seems like one of those systems that's not only there to kind of increase capability, but also cut those pennies. Launching missiles is not a cheap solution to artillery, in my particular opinion. That's just my opinion, take it with a pinch of salt, because they are inherently very expensive to launch. It's a very complex piece of equipment to fire through long range, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. When it comes to a projectile, you put enough propellant behind it, fire it down the barrel, at some point it's going to hit the target and cause a bad day. With DeepStrike, they're trying to not only make that capability of range, precision, all that good stuff better, but they want to make it cheaper. And this video that we're about to see is going to give you a little bit of an insight as to what they're trying to propose to upgrade this weapons platform. And it's pretty interesting, so let's take a look.
Raytheon is answering the U.S. Army's call for a long-range precision strike missile. Faster, more powerful, able to cover greater range, and all at less than half the cost. Raytheon's DeepStrike, a system designed for today's threats and adaptable for tomorrow's challenges. The innovation begins with Raytheon's tip-to-tail missile expertise, which yields a smaller diameter missile than the current systems, and a profound advantage: a two-in-the-tube capability. Each launch enables a double strike, delivering instant battlefield overmatch, meaning the adversarial forces have no time to recover. DeepStrike lives up to its name with a substantial increase in range. With missiles able to extend current capability by 65%, the system hits deeper, keeping America's soldiers further from the threat. The greater range comes with substantially increased speed and responsiveness, and with improvements in accuracy. Raytheon's superior guidance systems ensure that DeepStrike hits targets with greater precision. DeepStrike is the product of Raytheon's proven transformational technologies, creating a system with double the firepower, yet delivered at less than half the cost of aging systems. And DeepStrike isn't just more affordable today, it remains so well into the future. That's because the system's open architecture is designed with the future in mind. Unforeseen threats are answered with adaptable payload capabilities. Welcome to the next generation in surface-to-surface weaponry. 10 times the improvement over the current capabilities, increasing the range, doubling the firepower, increasing speed and accuracy, all at less than half the cost. DeepStrike is the new standard for overmatch. Ready for today's needs, prepared for tomorrow's threats.
So there you have it, Raytheon clearly knowing exactly what they're doing with this kind of weapons platform. You know, I know a lot of people out there hate rocket artillery and feel that it's something that is costly, it is not as efficient as being able to, you know, supply a group of gunners with a mass amount of, you know, ammunition and projectiles and put a massive amount of firepower down, very flexible. You know, and I agree, there is some principles that are pros and cons, but when it comes to making these missiles more effective and cheaper, they're onto a winning streak there, I think, and it's a little sad to see that I'm sure in the long future we're going to see these platforms overwhelmingly come into artillery regiments or units around the world. Now, believe it or not, Raytheon was also the ones that produced the Excalibur round, an outstanding projectile. Up to 1,500 projectiles are actually being ordered throughout the company for next year, which is really interesting. They are not a cheap projectile, but very, very capable of what they need to do. You know, there are other systems out there too, as you saw in the video, the Army Tactical Missile System, or ATMS, which was an improvement that was urgently needed to counter the long-range systems fielded by other potential peer adversaries. They felt that they were a little outranged and outgunned by some of the other conflict options that were available in Europe, and the apparent referral to Russia, which, you know, it's hard to say if they're actually referring to that kind of tactical sense, but something to think about. Raytheon was actually aiming to help them avoid that problem with this $116 million contract for this DeepStrike program. It's a competition really between them and Lockheed Martin, and the purpose was really to provide a long-range capability overall for NATO, but specifically the United States. The Army wanted a system that can outreach the 2 times the length of the ATMS, roughly around the 100-mile range, and this is what I mean. To contend with a missile with standard field artillery like that, it's just near impossible. You know, projectile trying to launch from a gun, you're talking about, you know, like railway gun size things. It's not quite capable of being able to do that. So that's what they're looking for, you know, increased capability for long-range precision strikes. Right now, the thing that's really exciting is that it'll attack and overmatch nearly all threats out there for a complete maximum range capability. It increases lethality, the loadout of the vehicles is be able to customize whatever they want in the warhead. And, you know, it will really increase the capability of artillery forces for them to be more flexible on the battlefield, and that's a really, really important part of being able to provide fire support for the frontline troops, is being flexible, being able to utilize different missiles for different, you know, theaters of conflict that they may require. So, an interesting program for sure. I'm curious as to see, you know, how much these things are going to cost in the future, if they're going to be even more expensive with more changes. They can be fitted to both the heavy track-propelled M270 or MLRS launcher, and it'll hold around 2 rounds on the truck-mounted HIMARS launcher, which that can actually only hold 1. So DeepStrike's requirements are really to double that load and be compatible with existing launchers, which is a struggle, I think, for them right now to try and increase those big old boxes they have on the back there to hold out these massive rockets. They are ahead of schedule, you know, the flight tests have been scheduled and worked out quite well, so hopefully we'll see them operating a lot sooner than expected, and it looks like the states are really on board with trying to get these into their arsenal. So I appreciate you stopping by today and watching the video. If you did enjoy, please leave me a like and a comment, hit the little bell button to be notified of any upcoming military review videos or anything else that you enjoy on my channel. If you want to come hang out with me, play some video games, chat, come hang out on my Discord channel. The link is in the description box below. And if you do want to support my channel, go check out my Patreon page. I would really appreciate it, and thank you to all of you who are supporting me on that. It really means a lot to me. Hope you have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care, and bye-bye.